Hey everyone, Loadabuggy here, back with another commentary. I know, 2 in 1 month, it sure is something. I'm just surprised I'm back making commentaries in the first place. As are you, I imagine. But we're not going to dwell on that for too long. We're going to talk about something rather serious today. And it was originally inspired by a video that my good buddy Calling Me Crazy had made. That video is titled Men's Happiness is Different, and I'll leave that in a link in the description. You can check that out. It's a great video, very important. But he starts the video by saying how in June, every company and social media conglomerate will change their profile picture to a version of that same profile picture, but rainbowized, if you will, in celebration of Pride Month. And he points out something that's very important, and he's not the only one I'm noticing this year. It's a little bit different. But he talks about the importance that June is not only Pride Month, but it is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And this is something that kind of gets glossed over pretty much every single year, if we're honest. And it's been really cool to see a lot of people coming out in support of men's mental health. It's been a pretty big deal on social media, at least from what I'm seeing. And there's been some people who are outspoken against Men's Mental Health Month for whatever reason on like TikTok and whatnot. But they got canceled pretty quickly because men are just as important as any other person on this planet. We're all equals, we're all equally important, and it's about time we start talking about the importance of men's mental health. So I really want to start by bringing up this graphic that I had seen. Now, I don't know for sure that the numbers on this graph are exactly correct, but I imagine they're not too far off from being mostly accurate. And they say that about 525,000 men every year, or 10,096 men per week, or 1,442 men every day, or 60 men every hour, or 1 man every 60 seconds dies by suicide. Now, that's not to say that men are the only people that perish in this way, but according to this graph and the brief research that I've done and what I've seen over the last few years is that men are often more likely to commit suicide than other people. And according to this graph, once again, or this graphic, if you will, 3 times as many men as women die by suicide. And men are wrongly taught at a young age expressing emotion is weak, and this is often a result as to why they get to the point that they get to where they feel like the only other option is taking their own life. And I'm here to kind of tell you a little bit about my story and how you can at least attempt to alter your perception on what a real man is. And you might have already noticed the title of this video is Be a Man, Ask for Help. Now, that's something as men we've just been wired to not do. It's a stereotype that men just don't ask for help. We don't read instructions. We don't ask for directions. We just figure things out because doing anything different than figuring it out on our own is considered weak or beta, if you will. In order to be an alpha male or to appear strong to people around you, you have to do it all yourself. You have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. You have to build that IKEA furniture without the instructions, or you have to find your way to the nearest Walmart in the middle of nowhere without asking for directions, because doing it any other way would make you appear weak. And as men, we just can't have that. Now, according to this graphic again, men aged 40 to 49 often have the highest suicide rate. Now, I don't particularly think that this age range is a coincidental number. I personally believe that men who have reached this age have been enduring their own terrors and their own burdens for 40 years, and it's not uncommon for us to have a breaking point, and I think a lot of us kind of have a standard breaking point that after that amount of time and for carrying those weights for that amount of time, we kind of all tend to break around the same time. And I've experienced that on a personal level. I've struggled with depression, and I've talked about that a little bit before in other videos. But I've struggled with depression, and it's been really, really difficult for me to just ask for help, ask someone for support. Because whenever you're really, really down, it takes a lot of effort, and especially whenever you're depressed, effort is something that just doesn't seem to be present at all. But one thing I've learned in this day and age, and it's something that I think has been a great benefit for me, is that texting is a pretty normal thing. Making a phone call or going to see someone in person to talk about these terrible, horrible burdens that we're all dealing with is pretty rare in this day and age, and I think it's kind of helped me, and I'll kind of explain what I have done. Actually, myself and my brother-in-law, we do weekly checkups on each other. Now, it took us quite some time to get to the point where we felt comfortable in being vulnerable with each other and sharing with each other truly how we're actually feeling, but we're at a really good place now where we really just have no barriers, and every single week whenever we shoot that text to one another, we know that we're going to be able to kind of have that outlet to talk to another man who perhaps is going through the same struggles that we are, or maybe has gone through those struggles and can help somebody else out. But doing it via text kind of eliminates that embarrassment that a lot of us men have by, communicating something to another person that may make us appear vulnerable or weak. And by doing that via text, it's really allowed myself and my brother-in-law to open up almost entirely and really share what's really going on deep within our brains and be able to share our heaviest burdens and not have to carry them alone anymore. We can actually help each other and carry each other's burdens. Now, if you've seen The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, there's a moment at the end of the movie where after this long, treacherous journey that Frodo and Sam went on, carrying the burden of the ring all the way to Mount Doom to destroy it, Sam says to Frodo, after Frodo has collapsed to the ground, he just couldn't take a step further. And that's not to say that Sam wasn't exhausted too. He was along the journey as well, but he wasn't carrying that burden the entire time. But he looks at the exhausted Frodo on the ground and he says to him, "I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you." And he picks Frodo up and he starts carrying Frodo and his burden up the mountain. And that's something that these check-ins have done for me and my brother-in-law, is by sharing our burdens with each other and sharing that vulnerability, we've been able to carry each other's burdens because, like I said, for whatever reason, carrying someone else's burdens with them is a heck of a lot easier than carrying your own burdens by yourself. Now, I did kind of gloss over it on the graphic, but according to this graphic, men are less likely to seek medical help than women, and I think that's true. I think we're often wired to have this sort of ego that we can take whatever life gives us. We can take the pain, we can take the burdens, we can do it all by ourselves, and often we do, and that's not what we should be doing as men. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to call your brother or your father or a friend, your mom. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's another man or if it's another woman. You just call whoever's the most comfortable, whoever you can be the most vulnerable with, and you ask for help. Because asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. By having that self-awareness to know that you actually need help and then stopping and asking for that help, you're not only showing yourself but everyone around you that ego is not important to you, but finding results and getting better is far more important to you. And to me, that's a much greater sign of strength than just doing it all by yourself. As a father, I'd much rather have my children look at me asking for help in a time of vulnerability than have those children become fatherless by the time that I hit the age of 40 to 49. This is a particularly important month. Men's mental health, like I said, has been glossed over for far too long, and everyone's mental health is important. But it's about time that us men not only ask for help, but lend a helping hand for others who may need help as well. If you're someone who needs help and you have nowhere to turn to, there's a link in the description that leads to my Discord, and there's lots of people in that Discord who would love to be able to help you and talk through whatever it is you're going through. And if you don't feel comfortable talking in a group setting, then you can message me directly through my Discord as well, and we'll talk. If you have a story to share, leave that in the comments section below. I know a lot of men, including myself, would love to have that boost of encouragement hearing your success stories, or have those stories of relatability where we can feel like we're no longer the only ones who are going through whatever it is we're going through. So if you feel comfortable enough to share your story down below, please leave those in the comments section. I look forward to reading them. I know this is only my second commentary on this channel, and I wasn't really planning on making it such a serious one, but we're still at the beginning of June here, and I felt like I really needed to make this video and kind of share my thoughts on men's mental health, because obviously, as a man, it hits quite close to home, and I want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard. But this month in particular, men, I want your voices to be heard. You are not alone. Be a man. Ask for help.